there, welcome to my channel. I'm FreeJayFly and I've been debating talking about my thoughts on Remember Me for a while. I've played the game and there's a lot of technical issues that I've had that have prevented me from getting it up on time, but at least all the content I have for this video is from me actually playing the game. I want to start with the music of the game, as music is one of my most favorite things to talk about in any review of a video game or film. The music in Remember Me is fairly interesting to me. The game has rather beautifully constructed music that ties in well with the setting and the general idea of the game. There are orchestrated pieces that really do sound amazing. Much of the orchestral pieces sound science fiction-y, as they should. They also mesh well with the fact that Nilin, the game's protagonist, has fragmented memories. And it's not only the fragmented memories of Nilin, but the fragmented memories of many of the people that live within this dystopian future France. So I think if there is something to praise about the game, then the music definitely should get most of it. Onward to more of the game, as mentioned before, the setting takes place within a futuristic dystopian France. The basis of the game revolves around the company called Memorize. Yeah, that's what it's really called. The company Memorize made a device called the Sensen that allows for people to live their most cherished memories. But this technology also causes many people that rely on it to become, well, a little loopy and even hostile for those that cannot handle too much of it. Oddly, this makes some individuals change appearance, which are then called leapers. Leapers, it sounds pretty bad, especially since it phonetically sounds really close to leper. I also don't really know how overuse of the Sensen makes it change their physical stature, but it does. Anyways, we're thrust in the game after watching people talk about the Sensen, and we then take the role of Nilin Cartier-Wells, a memory hunter who was compromised and had her memories terminated. Now, this would have been totally cool if we learned a little more about Nilin as time went on. Unfortunately, we get a guy in our head that we can't get out named Edge. He helps Nilin to escape, and bang! We get to dive into more of the game of Nilin struggling to remember things and having trust issues, which, you know, is understandable. Now, I was excited for the content of this game that Dontnod Entertainment was presenting us, and it was published by Capcom, so surely there was something there that Capcom saw potential in, right? We're talking about the company that developed games like Street Fighter, Mega Man, Monster Hunter, Phoenix Wright, Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, and you know, other games that people enjoyed, right? The idea of being a memory hunter, someone who gathers information by invading other people's minds and seeing what they saw, was really exciting to me. The whole getting to tamper with memories and shaping them to make people remember what you want them to remember was an amazing concept to me. And the more I played this game, I found out that you only get to do it 3-4 times? The main thing people advertised of this game was the whole memory tampering and getting to augment others' realities to better benefit Nilin's cause. The fact that you do it so few times is disappointing, to say the very least of all of that. Remember Me is also a stretched out game that is only that way because of the fights that the developers decided to put you through to make the experience feel like a long one. The fights are needlessly long in many cases, and with a lot of the presents that you get to unlock as time goes on, the game expects you to combo a lot to gain a lot, which would be neat if your combo didn't break when evading an enemy so you don't take damage. Where there was a lot of potential in actually memory hunting and getting to tamper with memories, it was unfortunately placed aside for the rather unimpressive storytelling and the fighting that happens in the game. I'm saying that the storytelling was impressive because a lot of what we learn of Nilin is through her monologues after you finish certain chapters. Like she's attempting to recap certain parts of her life and is attempting to comprehend what is happening in her limited memory. And this isn't bad, it's just poorly done. There are some things that we learn about Nilin through side characters which would have been great if these side characters did way more than just show up twice in the entirety of the game. No joke, Headache Tommy and Olga literally only have 2 scenes each. Even Nilin's fanboy, Bad Request, yes, that is the name he goes by, only gets 2 entire scenes within the game. We learned so little about Nilin, and there's no oh crap moments within the game that it made the ending so anticlimactic for me. Not to say anything super spoiler heavy for those that have not experienced the game in some fashion. I will say that you learn a bombshell of a detail about Nilin, but because you have so little interaction with a lot of the characters, and Nilin has the personality of a wet paper towel, it's honestly hard to find any emotional ties or empathy for what's going on in the game's storytelling. Overall, Remember Me had an extremely interesting concept, and it was something I really looked forward to, as I mentioned before. I held off on doing a review for this game because I didn't even have the energy to do it after I played the game for myself back when I lived in Texas. Yeah, I'm currently living in Ohio when I wrote and recorded this review. The downfall of Remember Me was its lackluster storytelling, the protagonist in which I have no empathy for, and the grueling battle system that was needlessly long in many cases. Now for some things I will actually praise the game for. I really like Nilin's design. It is interesting for me to see a woman outside of Fate from Mirror's Edge or Lara Croft from Tomb Raider taking up the kick-ass female protagonist role. Not only that, but like the aforementioned female characters, Nilin is also not very sexualized. While there are those that will probably argue that, let me just point out that Nilin's outfit is super modest compared to many other females' clothes in video games, and it's honestly refreshing. Not only that, but in no way did the developers even put Nilin in situations that sexualized her, which is fantastic. Because the setting in which the game takes place, sexualizing Nilin would have been very inappropriate, and it wouldn't have made any sense. Oh, and the fact that Nilin, like Aveline from Assassin's Creed Liberty, is a woman of color also makes me really happy. Yeah, that's a thing you learn toward the end of the game about Nilin, but hey, that's the only spoilery thing I don't mind revealing. The other thing I praise the game for has already received it. The music of the game is still fantastic, and I like listening to the soundtrack when I work on things just because it is captivating to me. I think that the music deserves positive praise because it is executed well. And the last thing I really want to praise the game for is the idea. While I don't care for how the game played or how it was executed, the game did have a fresh and relatively original idea. It was something to look forward to, and it was something that I personally found really interesting. I just wish that the developers actually took the idea and expanded upon it rather than shoving it aside to fill in what they probably thought was boring gameplay with the excessive fighting. Wrapping up, Remember Me is something that I will not be returning to. To me, Remember Me is an experience better off forgotten. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my review of Remember Me. Again, I know I'm a little late on giving some thoughts on it, though with a lot of the energy it drained from me and how much I dreaded playing midway through the game, I think me getting a review up at all is amazing in its own right. But anyways, if you did enjoy my review, go ahead and check out my channel. Maybe there are some things over there that you might like. If you didn't, well, no one's keeping you here. So, no matter who you are, I hope you're having a wonderful day, wonderful week, wonderful whatever it is. Bye!